Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
How many times do you think we've done that intro?
I don't know. About 100.
I love doing the intro. It's fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a pre-recorded one, but we never choose to use it.
I know. This is much better.
It is better.
Yeah.
What's up, great girlfriends?
Hey, great girlfriends.
Shucks. What's under the Christmas tree?
I know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, what's in the Christmas bellies?
Come on, somebody.
Because, I'm trying to walk into 2019 fine as wine.
Then tell me you pushed away from the table.
And I'm gonna tell you I am pushing away from the table today. How about that?
I mean, but the thing about me is don't push away from one table to go to another, right? Because that's what I do. I be like, I'm going to push away from that table, but I'm going to slide over to this kid table and have cookies. No, Sybil, you can't do that.
Exactly.
OMG, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh my gosh. You guys are the greatest gift and treasure that we could have never known that we would even have in our life, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
a totally unexpected gift.
Yes. And we just want to say from the bottom of our hearts how grateful we are to be great girlfriends.
Yes.
And to share time with you all.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I hope so. Here's the deal. If you guys are listening to this episode, you got family around, right? So you have to share this with all your aunts and cousins and nieces and sisters and grandmas. Everybody, share it with them. This is actually going to be a really great episode. So I'm excited to...
Tell me why, Brandis.
Because I think as we're looking on social media all the time, it's the one thing that I see coming up over and over again. And when I hear women talk, or I'm like at some event and I'm listening to women like trying to figure this one thing out, I'm just like, yeah, this is a topic we need to cover on the Great Girlfriends. This is something we need to address.
I wish we had done a bet, like when we first started this podcast, that we would have to talk about love. I wish we had.
Let me tell you,
we about to get all in your love sauce, Brandis.
Now I'm good with it, but in the beginning I wasn't.
She was like, no, we're not talking about love. We're not talking about love. But honestly, isn't that a suffocation point for so many women?
That is a suffocation point.
You don't have to raise your hand right now with your aunts and sisters and cousins around, but just kind of sneeze if it's you. Like if you feel like you're suffocating in the love department.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're seeing it, and we get the questions and even the things that people say when they meet you and they're like, I just love your marriage. You just have a beautiful family. And I'll be like, how did you, like, of all the things, that we could be talking about in this professional setting, what's most significant to people is how you navigate love lives.
Yes.
Your love life and what's real and what's true.
Yes.
And I think that everyone is in a quest to find what's real and what's true for themselves.
Yeah.
And to know that it's possible.
Absolutely.
So yes, Brandis and I are in the throes of passion.
Yes.
and marriage and motherhood.
All of it.
If you only heard some of the conversations we have offline, you would crack up as we talk about these superhero husbands. But there is a truth about it. And Brandis, you brought this to my attention today when we were talking about this conversation of fairy tales and expectation.
Yes.
And almost how some of us mentally set ourselves up for failure.
Absolutely.
Because of this fairy tale and high expectation.
Yes.
And just go ahead, B. You go ahead and talk about that part.
We have the fairy tale, right? We have a fairy tale about life and what our life is going to be. And we romanticize and what our love life is going to be and what our husband is going to be like and what our home is going to be like. And throughout all that fantasizing, we've never thought about what it's going to take from us in order to make that fantasy a reality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We just think about the outcome, but how do you get to the outcome?
Isn't this funny?
First of all, the fairy tale ain't true. Let me just start there.
Disney
okay,
lied.
there is no fairy tale. That's number one.
We love you, but you lied. You told all these little girls he was gonna come find the girl in the forest, come in on a horse, slay the dragon, kill the frog, and take her and lift her over your shoulder and ride off into history.
Exactly.
Right? But you know what's so interesting? When we as humans, I'm gonna say humans because I know for a fact that men have ideas and fairy tales around what she's going to be and who she's going to be, in the streets and in the bed, X, Y, and Z. But when we do this, we never imagine who we're going to be in the fairy tale. We always imagine this hero,
what the other person is going to be. We never think about what we're going to be.
We always think about him coming to swoop in. But if he's coming to swoop in and save us, what is he saving us from?
Yes, child. What is he saving us from? Financial ruins.
Hello?
He's saving us
decisions
from a bad job.
Once
he comes, I can quit my job and I just go live in his beautiful big house with maids and servants. And
he going to be fine and I don't have to work out. Right?
He going to be fine. He going to have a six-pack.
He's just going to fan me all day.
Yeah.
It's just all of that. What is he saving you from? And if for the guys, if she's a lady in the streets and a freak in the bed, that's what they say they want.
Right.
And they do.
Yes.
To be clear, right?
Yes.
Would you say that?
Yes.
That ladies, take note on that. But what is it that we're saving them from?
Yeah.
All the expectation, the imbalance of expectation in a fairy tale leaves us feeling let down when we meet our man kit. Like Kwaku always talks about this man. My husband always talks about the man kit.
Yes.
And how we get these pieces and what it's one part of our responsibility as loves to one another and to craft into that kit what we want. And I do think that is true as well. Did you find that true?
No, I think that's true.
And I've been molded too.
I was just about to say that. Let me tell you, as a matter of fact, Rich and I were at a lunch yesterday and we were talking about how I was when I first met him and how I was when I first started my business and I met him. And he was like, and man, she was just a girlfriend, right? She's making all these crazy decisions. She was just a girlfriend. But he has helped me so much in forward thinking and not thinking about just this moment, but thinking about a week from now and 2 weeks from now and a year from now and 10 years from now. He's definitely caused a big change in me. Mm-hmm. So it works both ways.
It's a grooming process.
It is.
It's a growth process that people have to go through together. But okay. We're now we know.
Yeah,
we're living in fairy tales.
We're living in fairy tales.
And we don't want our great girlfriend community to walk away from this podcast with the misconception that fairy tales become reality. Marriage relationships take work.
They take work. And here is the problem. We all say that on social media. Every time somebody posts a happy anniversary, they tell me if this is not true, Sybil. Mm-hmm. Every time they're 10 years of marriage and it's not been easy and it's taken so much work. But no one ever says, well, what work does it take? The work? No one ever gives you. They don't take you behind the veil and say, but what work does it take?
Because, for every kid, the work is different.
It is different, but there are some things, though, that are universal across the board.
Okay, so let's talk about them. Number one, I'm going to say, is there is a dual responsibility in every relationship to bring your best and highest intent.
Yes.
Dual responsibility. That is in every relationship to bring your best and highest intent. That means I don't come to the table expecting my husband to do any more work than I'm willing to put in for the results of the marriage. I'm not working to make him who I want him to be. I'm working to build the relationship that's in the best interest of the marriage. So I'm not thinking about making him my pool boy.
Right.
Because I want a great pool. Right. Because I want a manservant.
Right.
That's not what I'm thinking about. Right. The sculpting is for the sake of the marriage. It's for the sake of the covenant, the big vision.
Yeah.
And not my short-term expectations. So coming to the table with the expectation that there is dual responsibility and not trying to come and drop off. I'm not going to dump my luggage and just say, here, take my bags. And do,
make do.
I'm not going to expect him to carry the weight, the mantle. I'm not going to look for a man that has a perfect, and that's for those that are single. I'm not going to look for the man that has a perfect profile and expect him to bring perfection to the marriage. It's just a profile. It's no more perfect than yours.
Exactly.
It's a profile.
Exactly.
But behind the veil of a suit.
Yes.
And a profile and a nice Instagram photo and a great career.
Yeah.
And all those things is a man who's working on things that you may not understand.
Things that you might not understand until 5 years into a marriage.
Come on. And he's been working on these things in a silo by himself. And you've been working by yourself.
Yeah, but we're better as women sometimes about at least talking to somebody about like what we're dealing with, talking to our sister or talking to our friends.
Yeah, but we still painting our story.
But at least, but the men, they don't talk to anybody most of the time.
Y'all need to talk to people, brothers.
But I love what you just said, because one of the things you just said was that you have to remember that in marriage is me, you, and then the marriage, right? And at the end of the day, like my goal is to make sure that the marriage is in good shape. And I think sometimes we get so focused on you and me that we forget that there's this third piece there that we have to take care of, which is the marriage in general.
Yeah. I think that's the larger part of it. It's like what I've learned in my time married and even single time, ladies, because I wasn't one that had a fairy tale and wanted to be married and was dreaming of all of that stuff. So clearly Kwaku did a lot of grooming.
Right.
He met a girlfriend. Just so we're clear who he met. My mind wasn't there. I wasn't a short-term thinker. That wasn't a part of my vision. I also understand that that's what love does. Love will expand your vision, expand your capacity and your desires. Yeah. So that's what a good love does. But to be clear, Kwaku did his share of work and grooming and training, and I did mine as well. But as a single woman, I didn't have my eyes set on a fairy tale. I had my eyes set on compatibility and where are we congruent? Where do we find where do we have the greatest amount of strength? And where are you challenging the snot out of me? Like you challenge me in this point, I can't stand you, but I respect you because you dare be the one to challenge that thing that all the rest of those knuckleheads let slide. Yes.
Or didn't even care enough to challenge.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Didn't even care enough. It was just like it didn't matter to them. But you love me so much that you're looking to stimulate and challenge me so you can grow me into the better woman. Right. And I think that's so important. So that dual responsibility.
Absolutely. Number 2, and this one is going to be really tough because this isn't something that we're trained to do or be, but it's like always expecting the best. And I think, there's so like our mind goes so fast. Like we have already had a conversation with someone without ever having a conversation. You call somebody and they don't answer your call and you made up a whole dialogue. And by the time they call, you are ticked off. And you have no idea. And so that is probably one of the biggest challenges. Like if you look at 1 Corinthians 13, which is like the love chapter. Preach. Girl, that's my chapter because I have to study it. Yeah. I really have to study 1 Corinthians 13 all the time because that's not my strong point. Those things that it's asking me to do, to be patient and to always expect the best and all those things, it's not my strong suit. I have to work on it. And so for me, it's like, how do you always expect the best? Because sometimes we're showing up with an attitude about something and he didn't mean you harm. Yeah. He didn't mean you harm.
Oh, that's so good, B.
And that's in marriage. And that's like, I'm 5 years into marriage. And still, it's like, I have to go, my husband the other day was talking about the light being on the stove. And let me tell you guys, I almost kind of blew up because I was like, you're complaining about the light being on the stove. But then I brought up all this other stuff I had done all day. Well, here is the thing, though. He was really looking out for the light bill. Yeah. Yeah. That was his entire intent behind that statement was the light bill's getting high. Turn the light off on the stove. Why is the light on the stove? Right. Yeah. I heard it as, wait a minute, you don't appreciate that I got Sky up, ironed her clothes, washed her clothes, put her clothes, packed her snacks, took her to school, right?
And he's like,
huh? and he was sitting there like, and I was like, you just don't appreciate me. Yeah. And so that was a case where I totally failed at just expecting the best from him and hearing what he said, but not hearing it as like not being on the defense. Like I was on the defense, right? So I was so on the defense in that moment that I took him saying, why did you leave the light on the stove as an attack on me when really he was saying, I want to make sure that the light bill isn't so high. Yeah. So let's turn the light off on the stove. Yeah. And so I think that's something we always have to, it's going to be a struggle and a fight, but it's really a requirement come on, somebody, for love, that you're supposed to always expect the best.
Yeah.
And that's not just out of your husband or your boyfriend. That's also out of everyone.
Exactly.
If you love someone, a part of loving them is always expecting that they have the best intention for you.
That's right. That's right. That looking at the intent helps to shape the way that you perceive and receive people every time.
Every time.
When you look at the intent and you try to listen for the intention.
Yeah.
And not let your feelings get in the way of that. Which brings me to the next one.
Yeah.
Is disarming.
Yes.
Disarming. Not always being on the defensive. Us as women taking the time, this is everywhere. You know, we talked about this some years ago, but I will never forget a woman that I know was smizing on Instagram, and she really was with her best and highest intent. She was smizing and giving like have a great day, but it was so much anger behind the smize. I was like, disarm, because everything that you carry,
you can see it.
You can see it, and it makes it hard for you to give your biggest, brightest smile, your biggest, brightest expectation.
Yes,
it shapes your hopes.
Yes.
It changes and frames the way that you operate at work.
Absolutely. Even
when you're out and about and you're single, you know, and a guy approaches you, how you even turn and respond to him and communicate. When people give you feedback, the kind of response that you're able to offer, like, is your gun loaded, or are you just like, you know what? Thank you for that feedback, because you only want me to grow. Yeah. Respect you for doing that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking being perfect.
Right.
I'm saying remembering that carrying all of the baggage of the past, and projecting it and expecting other people to receive it and just, you know, take it on for you. It's almost like you're creating bondage for the next relationship, because you never give that new relationship or people in your life an opportunity to pour hope into you or optimism or to help groom and grow you. When honestly, if the people around you, the relationships that we have, personal, professional, you know, especially your spouse or the guy you're dating, if we're not growing in those relationships, the relationships are dying.
Yes. Yes. And nobody can read your mind, and nobody can carry all your weight, and nobody in this world can carry all your baggage. And this is when I'm going to say it again, go to therapy and release all of that, because you don't realize I didn't realize how much I was carrying. I had no idea how much I was carrying. Yeah. And I actually owe Liz a call now. But like, I didn't know how much I was carrying. I was carrying too many things. Mm-hmm. And you have to release that stuff. You can't expect someone to carry all these bags you're bringing into a relationship. And this man has got his own bag. He got his own mama issues. He got his own daddy issues. Yeah. He got his own issues that he's been carrying since he was 5 years old. And so now you want him to come carry yours too?
And the fairy tale of it is that people have to take you as you are. Yeah. Now, let me be clear on this. People should love you for who you are. But some of us don't even like who we are. So how are we expecting people in our lives to just take us as we are when we know good and well we need to work on some of those things that we've been passing off to people for years? And now we're prepping for 2019, and we write these big vision boards, and they're pretty and they have a lot of expectation on them. Right. But there is a work that has to happen.
There is a work.
In those secret passageways, those cavities. Yes. And we know the work that we need to do to eliminate the expectations that everyone else in our life should do the work, and that we get to sit back and be the princess that's being rescued.
Oh, Silver, let me tell you. Okay, guys, because we're coming to the end of this episode, and I feel like this is going to have to be a part 2 because we got so much more to say. We really do. But I think the last point, I think round 4, right, is you have to forgive often.
Oh, girl.
And you can't hold on to grudges. Mm-hmm. Like, if you are in a relationship and you are holding on to the last 5 things he did, right, and every time an argument come up, you like repeat 1 through 5, and then he do something else, and then the next argument is 1 through 6, and then he do something else, and the next argument is 1 through 7. Like, you are never going to get, like, there are some times where Rich makes me so upset, and I'll pray and I'll say, God, you know, you need to, I remember one night I prayed and I said, God, you need to like really like fix this. And God was like, what do you mean I need to fix this? Like, you need to fix it. And he was like, put your hand on his head. And y'all, I did not want to put my hand on his head. And God was like, give him a kiss. And I could like hear it step by step. Mm-hmm. And God was like, what you're asking me to do, you can actually do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by just like showing love, like in the middle of whatever situation, and showing real love, no matter how you're feeling. When I tell you it transforms a situation, it transforms an argument, it transforms everything. But you have to be willing to be vulnerable enough. And sometimes we think, oh, somebody's like taking advantage of us because, we're mad and they didn't give us an apology and they da. Love doesn't require an apology.
No.
It doesn't require an apology. It's just love. And you just love. And if you don't like forgive often in a marriage, because it'd be the tiniest things sometimes that will send you over the edge.
Girl.
Like asking me where the lotion is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And those things kill marriages.
Yeah.
The petty micro things that we focus on sometimes when there's a macro that's at stake that we're not looking at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we got to create legacy, as Sybil likes to say all the time. We're creating legacy for our children and for our grandchildren and for our great-grandchildren. And so we're building something that needs to last, not just for us and our personal feelings, but over tiny, ridiculous things like, somebody won't keep this clean.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of life, and your children and your grandchildren, it's not worth it.
Yeah. It's not. And I think for us great girlfriends, our priority is to make sure that, you have a lot of access to our marriages. You have a lot of access to our highs and our lows and the expectations. But for those of you that are asking, oftentimes, like, how do you make it work? Well, that's just it. The fairy tale piece of it has been eliminated. The expectation is that we as partners to our marriages are partnered to the vision, that we agree with the covenant that we took. And most married women will tell you that when it comes down to it, when you look at those vows, they were between you and God. So when you allow God to have his proper space in your marriage, then it allows for you to look at the bigger picture. So some of the small things don't matter as much because you realize the significance of your commitment.
Yes.
And it changes the idea of the fairy tale doesn't even matter anymore.
Right.
It's just, it becomes something that is just, it almost a ridiculous expectation that we had at some point in our single lives. It doesn't matter. And for those of you that are still wondering, can you have it all? We'll talk about that in part 2 because that is a big question. Can I have it all?
Okay.
Do I have to do all the work? You don't have to do all the work. You got to do your work, but not all the work.
Definitely not all the work.
Yeah.
But you do have to do work.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it is a work that will stretch you personally every day.
Child. But it's essential to the woman that you want to be.
Absolutely.
It's the becoming story.
It is.
It's essential. It's the work that is called an essential and it's necessary. And for someone that you've partnered with so intimately to know all of your delicacies and intricacies and want to help you work on things, it's a perfecting process that is so beautiful if you embrace it.
Probably a lifetime process.
Come on. I think so. So we're going to dive into that in part 2, but enjoy your families. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
So much love to you, great girlfriends. Y'all just stay ready because 2019, I'm telling you.
I know. We're so excited.
Oh my God.
We're so excited.
Only we could tell you, but we can't.
I know. There's so many things to be announced. Like so many things. Just sending you guys lots of love.
Lots of love. Stay tuned and get to the conference. Get to the conference. You're going to want to be at this conference.
Yeah, this conference is going to be different from the other conferences we've done. Sybil and I are doing some things that we know that you guys have been wanting for a while and opening up and letting you behind the veil even more than we do on the podcast. So.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We could not end this podcast without thanking our amazing husbands.
Yes, thank you, Kwaku.
And thank you so much, Rich Daniel.
And our beautiful children, thank you, Sam and Dylan.
And thank you, Miss Sky Daniel.
And thank you to all of you, great girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter.
You can check us out on our social, on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on Twitter,
_Great GFS,
and on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
And please make sure that you join our Facebook group, which is over 16,000 women strong.
Absolutely. And make sure you listen every single Wednesday on iTunes, Spotify, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, Google Play, and every other podcasting service.
Absolutely.
Be sure to post your questions, share with your friends, keep listening, and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're signing off.
Peace.
Peace.
We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, great girlfriends, we're inviting you to join us for the 2019 Doers and Disruptors Conference, June 13th through the 15th in New York City. This 3-day event includes exciting receptions, life-changing panels, incredible mastermind groups, connections, and more. This year, we had over 100 great girlfriends from around the world connect with like-minded women and create incredible memories. Now, it's your turn to be a part of this exclusive event. Visit our website, www.thegreatgirlfriendsconference.com, to grab an early bird ticket for yourself and your greatest girlfriend. We cannot wait to see you there.